Subscribe. Please click the like button, share and subscribe. It's free.
You know what a real U.S. president would do? Say that C-130s are on their way to Niger today with the water and the medicine and the food our troops need, that they will have a full fighter pilot escort there. And if the Nigerian government or any other third world thug tries to even turn on their air defense systems, we should show those leaders and those thugs what the target package looks like on their houses and their family members, because it should not be Americans that are suffering because President Biden and Blinken are so embarrassed that their strategy in Africa failed that they're willing to let Americans' conditions deteriorate.
Family, how would you feel when U.S. Congressman Matt Gaetz insult African leaders in their own countries in Africa? This Matt Gaetz is a congressman from Florida. You know, it's so hard to believe him standing on the world stage and say insulting African leaders. Africans, what is it that is bad about us? Should we always be seen as slaves all the time? Because these countries overseas are nothing without Africa minerals. They are just zero, because they are there for the minerals of Africa that creates jobs for their own peoples. We see Africans leaving Africa, going overseas. They are following their own minerals that are being shipped, that are creating jobs for people overseas. He calls our leaders thugs, and they need to be targeted with their families in their own houses. Does it make sense? Why this kind of a guy, Matt Gaetz, say such things to African leaders? And Matt Gaetz is a U.S. congressman, and he's known very well for his support of Donald Trump, and he's a prominent, his career has been marked with a lot of things and allegations of sex and trafficking. That is who Matt Gaetz is, and he is being investigated on those crimes, and he's got guards to come and insult African leaders in their own countries. They never called Americans to come down there. But Americans are there because of their own interests. When they are allowed to be in Africa, they tend to think that they rule Africa. Is he trying to tell Africans that you are nothing without America? All what you have there belongs to America. All the minerals that you have belongs to America. Is he trying to create war? What is he up to? Can anyone tell me? You can't call African leaders thugs and they need to be targeted with their families and eliminated. Does it make sense to anybody? Why are we taken for granted? Why do we, every time we are measured like we are slaves in our own continent, Africa? We need to change and see this insult. This was an offensive insult to African leaders and the African continent as a whole, because he has never been provoked by any. And why are the troops of America in Africa? We have them in Botswana, we have them in Niger, we have them in Mali, and they have just tried to kick them out. And now they come as if they are coming to fight terrorists, when it's not the truth. France did the same. He's been manipulating, stealing all the mineral resources in Africa. Nobody said nothing until there was a coup d'etat. So I don't understand this Matt Gaetz. Can anybody make me understand that we can be controlled in our own sovereignty? Why? Why should we be controlled? Africa belongs to Africans. Do we need to be controlled in our own sovereignty? For what good reason? Because every time they come in Africa, they come to tell us that they're coming to fight the terrorists, and endless wars are going on. When they're told to leave Africa, they don't want to leave Africa, but they've got guards to insult African leaders because they've got an upper hand to them. That's why we don't want puppet leaders in Africa. We need to wake up, like what Kenya is doing now. Because all these puppet leaders, we end up getting this kind of insult when one of us stand up, like in Burkinafaso, Mali, and Niger. Now, this is the kind of insult that comes to Africa. Why should we be patient for such nonsense? Again, I think he doesn't understand that this utterance of him is going to cause a lot of damage. Because now Africans are educated and they know what they want. And they're tired of the puppet leaders. That's why now the youth is rising up in Africa. Let me leave this message to GAETZ. GAETZ, no. All European countries are nothing without African minerals. All the jobs that overseas create, they create those jobs through our own minerals from Africa. We see minerals being shipped overseas. And those minerals that are shipped overseas, it's not minerals, but it's jobs shipped out of the continent. Because we have weak leaders, that you have got guards to insult them and call them thugs, and you tell the world that they need to be targeted and their families and eliminated. For what good reason? Because they've told Americans to live in Africa? What kind of rhetoric are you trying to do? Because you are trying to create war from nothing. You are setting a very dangerous precedent in what you have just uttered. Your mouth is smelling. You are being investigated for things that you have done. You must be careful of when to open your mouth and why you open your mouth. Is what you are saying going to build or destroy? Family, what do you think about the guy's speech insulting African leaders? I will leave it with you, family. Let's discuss and comment respectfully. Let's not forget to like, share. Bravo, bravo, family.